Hey guys, it's Ayelet. So all this week we've been discussing our favorite episodes, and as per usual, I'm a little indecisive. I couldn't really think of one for the whole series, so I decided to pick my favorite episode of season 10, which is easily episode 1015/1016, My Body is a Cage. So before I get into my review, just a little bit of backstory. So for a while, basically around season 6 to season 9, I was kind of those one of those annoying fans who was just constantly complaining about how Degrassi's not as good as it used to be. I think once they introduced the new characters, I just wasn't really clicking with them because for a while, up until then, I felt like I was growing up with Degrassi, and with the new characters, it felt like they stopped growing up with me. So I just tuned out, and each season I like watched it less and less. So by the time season 10 rolled around, I actually was considering not watching it at all because it was just becoming way too frustrating for me. But then I heard that they were introducing a transgender character, and I've been saying for years that they had to do that kind of storyline. So I was like, okay, I'll watch it just for that and not watch any of the other episodes. Well, I slowly began to get back into it. I got really hooked and felt almost like I was 13 again. And then this episode rolled around, and I knew it was the show I have loved all these years. So basically, My Body is a Cage. The main plot focuses on Adam sort of coming out, coming to terms with his being transgender and how it relates to his friends, his relationships, his family, and sort of all these things of daily life, of basically being a trans teen in high school. And I really like what the Peabody Award committee said about it. For those of you who don't know, this episode did win a Peabody Award, the first Degrassi episode to win one, and they said that they enjoyed how it neither trivialized nor over dramatized its subject, which I definitely agree with, especially how in terms of Adam coming out, it's sort of seen as opposite sides of a spectrum, because when you have sort of Claire and Eli who take the news very well, and he's extremely relieved, and then you have Bianca and then later Fitz and Owen who take the news very badly and respond with a lot of hatred and eventually violence. I really loved how the episode showed the dynamics with his family, especially his mom, who is sort of the middle ground between the sort of Claire and Eli on one side and the Bianca and Fitz and Owen, where she loves her son. She's very protective of him, and a little too protective because it ends up kind of hurting him, as we sort of see, for example, in the scene where in part 2 where they go shopping and she says that she doesn't deserve this, really with sort of dismissing Adam's feelings, but at the same time, you kind of see that hurt because she sees this as losing her daughter, which is iffy, but I think it's a really good portrayal of sort of a trans teen and his relationship with his mom, and really his relationship with Drew too. I found to be very interesting, especially since just a few episodes earlier, Drew sort of blackmails Riley into coming out, and now you have him sort of supporting Adam, like almost over supporting Adam, into the point where he gets beaten up for him. And I think just in terms of their relationship is just really fascinating to watch in general, especially sort of in the scene in part 1 in the bathroom where they're just playing off each other really well. It goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway, that Jordan Todesey is amazing in this episode. Her acting chops are just so fantastic, especially for someone her age who's only been on Degrassi for less than a season, just a few episodes at this point, and she just brings so much life to Adam, and she breaks my heart, and she just so amazing, basically. So the B plot deals with Anya and her mom being diagnosed with cancer, and it's just touching and so many tears. And I think what really makes this plot is Samantha Monroe's acting, which she has just matured so much as an actress on the show, and this episode is the perfect marker for that. And just so much heartbreaking in this plot as well, which I think is what led them to have the kind of ridiculous C plot with Dave and Miss O, because the other plots were kind of heavy, which the C plot, not really a big fan of. I thought it was just too useless for me. Honestly, it kind of made me miss the days when each episode only had two plots. But, they did need to lighten the mood, and I do acknowledge that. Also, just in terms of the whole episode, another thing I loved is the music. Music in season 10 in general has just been added so much to the show, but I think especially in this episode, one of my favorites is in part 2, in the scene where Adam's in the bathroom looking at his burn marks, and Aiming for the Sun by Ryan Keane is playing, and it just works so well with the scene, and it just breaks my heart into a million little pieces, and just especially when Adam takes his binder off, and it just works so great with the music. And of course, Sometimes by Melanie Horsnell, and the volcano scene. Just the music really makes this episode, I think. So for the challenge this week, we had to act out a scene, and the scene that I found easiest to act out was the opening scene, and I hope you guys enjoy my not so great acting chops. Hey, what are you doing? It's too early for all those decibels. No, it gets me pumped for football. What am I supposed to do for 2 hours until class starts? Well, why don't you watch Drew's practice? And rot of boredom, I'd rather be playing, if I were allowed. You said you talked to Simpson about transferring me to regular gym. Can you do that, today? No, I can't, because you're a new student at the school, and I think you should just fly under the radar for now, okay? In high school, Mom, no such thing. Besides, being in recreation class shines its own special spotlight. Someone could find out, Adam, and if they do, they could really hurt you. I have to ballroom dance today. If I'm getting hurt anywhere, it's busting a Dancing with the Stars maneuver, not in regular old gym. Okay. Adam's got a point, Mom. Yes. Zero rhythm. See? Yes, I see. Off you go. Bye. Wait. Grandma's coming in from Windsor on Wednesday. And I thought it would be nice if Gracie could join us for dinner. Godspeed. I told you, Gracie's gone. Will you please just consider it? Considering, no. Sorry, I'm not playing dress up for anyone. Have a great day, honey. And cue theme music. So those are my thoughts on my favorite episode of season 10, and I will see you next Friday.